Welcome. So what do I need to know to be able to graph a quadratic in vertex form? Well, the first thing we need to do is understand what is vertex form. Vertex form is written right here, where it's y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. It's very important to understand the difference between vertex form and standard form, which I'll write in y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Notice they're exact same, they're just in different formats. So if you do have an equation in standard form and they're asking you to graph it in vertex form, then one thing you're going to have to know for this is how to complete the square. And hopefully you've kind of gone over maybe completing the square and you're solving quadratic, but that's going to be a very important process to convert from standard form to quadratic form. The next thing is knowing how to identify the vertex. Now, through maybe your equations in absolute value or radicals or some other equation you've had, you might be able to identify something similar with the h and the k. And h and the k is going to represent our vertex, which is h comma k. So when something is in standard form, it's kind of difficult to be able to identify the vertex. We have to use the formula opposite of b divided by 2a and then plug that in to find the y value. But when it's in vertex form, we don't have to worry so much about that. We can simply just figure out what our h and our k is and find their value. I was just wondering. OK. The next thing we need to look at is understanding how to plot the graph. And that would be using a table. Now, it's very important for you to understand that the axis of symmetry goes through the vertex. So once I'm able to find the vertex, all right, once I know I find the vertex, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to want to choose values to the left or to the right and plot 2 or 3 points depending on the test or what your teacher is asking for you. And then you can reflect those points over the axis of symmetry. And that's going to help you plot the graph and use a table. And the last thing it's very helpful to know is a. When a is greater than 0, the graph opens up. When a is less than 0, the graph opens down. And that's the same as it is for standard form. But I think it's just very helpful to know when we're graphing something, if it's a vertex form or standard form, to understand how a is going to affect a graph. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is just some basic tips on what you need to know to be able to graph using quadratic form, vertex form. Thanks.